What's up guys, and welcome to another video on the channel. You lucky devils, 2 uploads for you today. In today's video we are going to be talking about our Forest doing at Fulham, and then once we've covered that off, we're going to have a look at the Forest team and see where I still think there needs to be strength added to the team and where I think we're looking quite good currently. Guys, before we start, as always, if you don't mind, give the video a quick like. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel and turn the notifications on. And we have a special offer for you just before we start the video, so check this out. Why not keep yourself hydrated this season with your own personalised Nottingham Forest water bottle? All you got to do is hit the customise button, put in the name you want, the shirt number of your choice, and add it to your basket. The link is in the description below. Let's get back to the video. Okay guys and girls, what do we mean by our Forest doing Fulham? Well, if I just explain to you quickly historically what happened to Fulham when they came up recently, not this time, the time before. Fulham went all out in the transfer market and bought about 14 players. They literally ripped up the squad and started all over again to try and survive in the Premier League. As we all know, or you may not, you may be new to football, Fulham went straight back down and their experiment completely failed. Forest, about 3 weeks ago, before Jesse Lingard signed, no one was really talking about us and we were just going along our merry way getting our business done. Suddenly, and did you know this, Forest are currently the 7th biggest spenders in this transfer window, ahead of some huge club names as well, and it really is raising a few eyebrows in and around the football world. Hence the accusation has come, are Forest doing a Fulham? Have Forest bought too many players? Have they made too many wholesale changes? Are they just going to come up to go straight back down because they're following the Fulham model? For me, anyone who's saying this is completely uneducated, not just on Forest, but on football in general, because they clearly do not understand what the situation was with Forest and how these wholesale changes were a complete must. Forest had 5 to 6 loan players in last year, none of which have been re-signed. So straight away, Forest was 6 players down in terms of their squad. These players included Jed Spence, Zinkernagel, Max Lowe, and about 4 or 5 others, and you guys are all well aware of them: Keenan Davis, Garner, etc, etc. We don't need to go through them all. Straight away though, because none of these were bought or not wanted to be bought, Forest was 6 players down in a Premier League squad that can consist of up to 25 players. So as a bare minimum, Forest would need to sign 6 players just to break even on the players we lost on loan. Add on to that, we've lost the likes of Lewis Grabin, Joe Lolly's going, and there's about 4 or 5 others. On top of that, loans from us have gone out as well. You add that all up, and getting to 12 players actually just brings us back to an even keel of numbers. So, are Forest doing a Fulham? Absolutely not. What are Forest doing? They are replacing what they've lost with better players. I don't see a single signing we've made where there isn't an argument to say they are going to be better than the player that predecessed them in that position. So in terms of the Fulham argument, I think that is fully debunked. I would argue that Forest haven't gone far enough. Like I said, with the players that have gone out and the players that are coming in, we're about break even or plus or minus 1 or 2 on that. And what I want to do now is have a look at the current squad and show you guys where I think the gaps are and where I think we have enough cover. So let's go over to our virtual pitch. I don't know why I called that, but it just sounds cool. And what I've done here is just outline all the players. I've ignored the youth players and the real fringe squad players that are very unlikely to be used unless we have an injury crisis. But let's go through this position by position and see exactly where we're strong and exactly where we're lacking. So just for clarification, I'm not here to debate which the first team should be or what player should be playing in which position or anything like that. We're merely looking at it from a squad perspective and to understand where we have cover. I may refer to some players as squad players. Again, that would just be my slight opinion, but it's not really the point of the video today. So if we have a look at this just currently, there's 21 players. And again, like I said, there's a couple of youth players who you may argue would make the squad. Now, already we're 4 players down on the allotted 25. Now, Cooper usually does like a squad of 20 players and maybe bloods in 4 or 5 youth players. But for me, I've kind of paired them up where they would sit roughly in their position. So if we start with the keepers, I think we're pretty set on that. I know Smith would be our third choice keeper. I don't rate him at all. So I've only left 2 currently. But we do have Smith as the third option, unless, of course, he goes out on loan. So with Henderson and Hennessy, I say we can put a tick in the keeper box currently. When we look at the centre-backs, it's going to be, you could argue, a set of 3 out of 5 players. Most likely going to be McKenna, Niakata and Worrell. And then you got Biancon, who can play right wing back. He can play out on the left and at centre-back. Cook as well, and Embasso is an option there. So in terms of the centre backs, I don't think we're too bad at all. And you could argue the same with the wing backs. Really what you're looking for is 2 to 3 players per position, or a utility player who can cover 2 or 3 positions, so you could include him in that number. So, for example, out on the left wing-back position, we got Richards and Tuffalo. And like I said, Williams can play there, although I don't like to see him on the left-hand side. And so can Bianco and at a stretch, Niakata. So there is cover there. Same on the right-hand side, Williams and Biancon will be enough cover there. Maybe one more if we were really to scrutinise. For me, the midfield numbers are now starting to look a lot healthier. My main concern about the central midfield positions is it's a lot of the same type of players. You could argue that Mangala is a better version of Colback. You could argue O'Brien is a better version of Colback. And you could argue that Yates, O'Brien and Mangala all roughly do the same job in a double pivot. None of them, and Cafu, of course, I mean, if you know what his real position is, please leave me in the comments down below. I love the guy. Maybe he's a cheerleader because he's really enthusiastic. I don't know. Let me know in the comments down below. But overall, in that central position, we seem to have a lot of the same players. And for me, this is still an area where I'd like to see some strengthening, because we either need to get a full-blown CDM who can just sit in front of the back four, take the ball off the centre-backs and progress it up the pitch, or we're going to need to get ourselves another attacking midfielder, because obviously we've got Jesse Lingard, but he can't play every single game. And Maiton, again, where do you put him? Do you put him up front where he wants to be? Do you put him as a cam, or do you put him out on a wing when we're not really playing a wing position? Maybe if we went into a 4-3-3, I think that formation would suit him better. But for now, I've just put him as a cam. But you can see straight away, we're very light in that attacking midfield position. Now, there has been a lot of arguments about why didn't we just get Zinchenko and just have him there as backup? He was only 2 million. For me, I agree with Cooper's decision on not taking him. I think he was good in fits and starts, but consistency wasn't one of the things with him. And his shooting kind of bugged me towards the end of the season, to be honest. I know he scored a few nice long ranges throughout the season, a couple of goals spring to mind, and of course the Fulham goal that he dribbled over the line. But overall, towards the end of the season, I did find myself getting frustrated with him, and I can understand why Cooper didn't go for him. But we're not here to talk about players we've had, we're talking about who's to come in. If we look at the striker positions, again, we're kind of 2 out of 3. If we were to get one injury, God forbid, to either Owoni Johnson or Surridge, we're suddenly looking very light, and we may suddenly be making that emergency call to Lyle. I don't think there's any Forest fan who wants to hear that emergency call has gone out on the bat phone. So for me, we need at least one striker, but I would argue 2 more in there. There is nothing wrong with buying 2 more quality strikers to create some competition on places. It's better to have more decent players than less players that you can't blood onto the football field at all. So that would be the strikers. Like I said, we're not going to talk about what combo we're going to use up front or etc. But you can clearly see, especially on that right-hand side, that cover for Johnson just isn't there at all. I would say then, to summarise this video, we need 2 strikers, or 1 striker and an attacking midfielder who can play up front. There's a perfect guy that comes to mind. He has 3 initials. I'm not going to mention him on this video because you guys are probably sick of me talking about him. But if you know, you know. And then I would say a versatile CM who plays more as as that Ghana position. I mean, let it be Ghana, you know what I mean? He would fit in nicely. And then finally for me, another CDM. So someone, I know you guys weren't big fans of Carvalho, but someone like that, Idrissa Gana Gueye, who's about to join Everton, would have been perfect, a perfect fit for us at Forest as well. Those kind of players who can sit deep, grab the ball off the defensive line and progress it up the park, or break the play as it comes back towards us. So that would be for me 1, 2, 3, 3 to 4. One striker, one cam, and one more central midfielder of a different profile to the ones we have, or 2 strikers, one cam, and one central midfielder or a CDM. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully that kind of makes sense. I know I've rambled on a bit about it, but if you're new here, of course, or you're not new, just like the video, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget, we've got the watch along coming this Saturday for the big game, Forest against Newcastle. Do you think our squad is ready? Let me know in the comments down below, and we'll see you on the next video. Come on, you Reds!